All right, what's going on, everybody? So the NBA trade deadline is approaching soon, so I thought I'd make a video on who we think will be traded and who we think won't be traded, because this is a really interesting trade deadline this year, one of the most interesting I've seen in a while. A lot of teams are trying to get rid of guys so they could have more money in free agency, especially with the cap going up. Other teams are trying to acquire guys so they could make their team more suitable to potential free agents. So let's get it started. First, we'll start with the Cavaliers, and I think they will get a point guard. LeBron, he's basically going to get whatever he wants, and rightfully so. He deserves it. For who they're going to get, the Cavs do have a problem, though. They have the highest payroll in the league, and they're over the luxury tax already. So they do have a $4.8 million trade exhibition where they could get somebody like a Jameer Nelson, or I heard Jarrett Jack too. They just need a backup point guard badly. If they don't trade for one of them, I could see them getting Rondo or Darren Williams if their team buys them out. Either way, Cleveland's gonna get a point guard. Another one I think is gonna happen is the Nuggets are gonna trade a big man. There's a lot of teams that we're gonna talk about in this video that have overabundance of big men. So they're going to have to try to get rid of one of them. And it's weird how the league shifted in any other era. If you had three big men, you'd be set. Now big men isn't really an important thing in the NBA. Now it's more about guards and three-point shooting. But these are very skilled big men that are on the block. The Nuggets, they have Jokic, Nurkic, and Fareed. So, I mean, either one of those are going to get traded. I think it's going to be Jokic. They're all very skilled. Some teams I see that are potential suitors are the Celtics. I mean, Celtics are in every freaking trade rumor you can find. The Celtics and Lakers are in every single trade rumor. The Celtics, I don't think they'd give up much. They definitely wouldn't give up one of their picks. They'd probably give up their pick, since it's going to be a late first rounder anyway. The Hornets is another good one. They could pair somebody up with Kemba Walker. They're missing a little post presence after Al Jefferson left. The Mavericks, they're going to try to find somebody to team up with Harrison Barnes for the future. I don't think they give up their first round pick, though. They try to keep it. Trailblazers, they've been missing a little post presence since what's his name? Aldridge? Yeah, since Aldridge left. The Pelicans, they're always looking for somebody to pair up with Anthony Davis. I mean, all these teams that I've mentioned, they're all going to be in the running for big men, because it seems like that's their big need, and they have a lot to offer. A trade that won't happen is Carmelo Anthony. I mean, mainly because he has no trade clause. So he said he only wants to go to Cleveland and LA, the Clippers. The Celtics, I don't think they'd be interested, and plus I don't think they'd give up anything for him, really.
Yeah, I think earlier today the Celtics were out stricken. They didn't want to trade for him.
Yeah, and they said the Clippers were going to give up, I think, like a combination of Austin Rivers, Jamal Crawford, and a couple other players. They can't trade Blake Griffin because with the new CBA rule, you can't have two players sign the max contracts after the rookie deal. So you can't have him and Derrick Rose on the same team. And plus, I don't think the Clippers would do it anyway.
Yeah, I don't think they'd ever do it.
Yeah, so what I see happening with Melo, I see him playing out this year and then getting traded over the summer. Maybe you could do a sign and trade with Blake Griffin if you wanted that to happen.
Yeah, I think it's all come down for where Melo goes or Chris Paul goes.
Yeah, I think he's going to be waiting true. I think he's going to be waiting to see what happens in free agency, check where everyone goes. He's going to want to play with Chris Paul. He's been wanting to for a while.
They might even get D-Wade for you after the Bulls contract too all season.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. D-Wade could go play for $2.5 million somewhere after making $25 million from the Bulls. All right, another trade that will happen. Back to big men again. The Magic are going to trade one of their big men. They just signed Biyombo for some reason in the offseason, traded for Ibaka, even though they have Vukovic, who I think is a really, really good player.
Plus they have Aaron Gordon too. I think he's freaking playing power forward.
Yeah, Aaron Gordon too. They have an overabundance of big men. I think the odd man out is probably Vukovic. I do think Ibaka, I don't know if he signed with him. I think his contract's up too. But I think it's going to be Vukovic. He's on a team-friendly deal. And there's a lot of potential suitors. Like, once again, I could see OKC, Boston, or Portland trading for him. OKC, because fucking Enes Kanter's an idiot and broke his hand. So they need a big man, but they do have Bender. No, not Bender, fucking his name. Bender's from Phoenix.
Sabonis.
Yeah, Sabonis. Trade that won't happen. Back to Blake Griffin again. I don't think that trade's going to happen. I do think he's going to leave after the year is up, though, because I think Chris Paul might be gone, too. I could see him going to play with Westbrook. But even if they were to trade him, his contract's up anyway. So I don't know if a team's going to shell out big, a fortune for him. Maybe I could see a couple players in the second rounder or two first. But it's still no guarantee he's going to stay anyway. And plus, he's coming back from injury soon, so we got to see how he plays. I don't think he's going to be back before the All-Star
No, I think
break.
he can make already.
Oh, he's back already?
Yeah, I think he make a couple games go in.
Yeah, we got to see how he plays. I
Really?
mean, and you don't know what he's really worth anymore anyway, because he hasn't really improved too much in the past couple of years. After his rookie year, he improved a lot, but then he kind of fell off.
I definitely want to see how good he plays, or freaking if he drops without Chris Paul lineup.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. They could try to go start feeding him and build him in the post. If he puts up good numbers, they want to build around him and just keep him. I don't think he's going anywhere. It will happen. I think Portland's going to get a big man. Either it's going to be Brook Lopez, Okafor. They're going to get a big man. They do have Alan Crabb, who's a valuable commodity because it's 3-point shooting, and he just signed that big contract. So I think they're going to get a big man. All right. And won't happen is a Goran Dragic trade. It was reported that the Heat were trying to sell everything they had. Even some people even put they put everybody on the block. Some people put Whiteside on the block too. I think that'd be a mistake to trade him. Dragic is probably their most valuable player. He's on a friendly contract. He's a fantastic player. He can do it all. Great point guard. I think he's averaging a double-double this month. So I don't think he's going to go anywhere. I think they're going to try to build around him and Whiteside, and you never know with Pat Riley what could happen in free agency. Right now will happen. I think back to big man again. I think the Sixers are going to trade a big man too. They're not going to trade Embiid. I think they like Noel better. So I think Okafor is going to be the man out. Okafor is very young, a fantastic player. I think he averaged 17 last year, 17-8, something like that. I've heard a lot of suitors for him. Portland's a good team. Alan Crabb for him straight up. You could even, if they were going to trade Dragic, you could go there. Phoenix is another good team with Brandon Knight, which I'll get to in a minute. OKC, that's another one. But I do think the Sixers, they want a point guard. So, there's some reports with Rondo for him, or Rondo and Mirotic, and just picks for Okafor. I think Okafor's going to go somewhere. The Celtics, they might be another team that's interested, but they don't really have a backup point guard to give. And they're not going to give up Isaiah Thomas. That's the only downside is the teams that are looking to trade is they do have big men. So, and that's something that Philly doesn't need. But I do think Okafor will be traded. Right now, won't be traded is anybody from the Bulls. The Bulls, they're trying to get rid of Mirotic, but it's reported that they overvalue a lot of their players, which they've been doing the whole time that Foreman and Paxton have been there. They've been overvaluing their players, so I don't think anybody's going to get traded from there. Another report was Jimmy Butler for Zach LaVine and Andrew Wiggins. They're not going to trade Jimmy Butler because then D-Wade's going to be gone. That's going to look bad in your franchise. They could try to trade to upgrade around them, but I don't think it's going to happen. So no one from the Bulls is going to go. I do think they might cut Rondo, though. Brandon Knight's going to be traded. He's going to be traded, I think he's been on 5 teams already, something like that. But Brandon Knight, he's a very good player. Point guards are very valuable. It makes sense to go to Philly, but Phoenix doesn't really need a big man. So I don't know where Brandon Knight's going to go. We could maybe see a 3-team trade with some team, with him going to Philly. I think that'd be a good fit for him. Or maybe Milwaukee, but you do have Giannis there. I think he's playing point guard now. Won't happen. DeMarcus Cousins trade. There's no way that DeMarcus Cousins is going anywhere. He's a top 10 player in this league. Fantastic guy. You got to keep him. If you get a player like that, he comes around once every decade. So you got to keep DeMarcus Cousins. And plus, it seems like he wants to stay there. It seems more like the team's pushing him out more than it's him wanting to leave. So I say they keep DeMarcus Cousins, even though they would get... Even if they trade him, they're not going to get the same value for what he's worth. I mean, Celtics, they're going to want him, but I don't think the Celtics stuff is that valuable, because I think if you look at the picks the past 17 years, how many guys are really game-changing talents? Just LeBron James, Kevin Durant, those are two guys that you could say, maybe Anthony Davis, that you could say your team's going to be a championship contender with them. So I think it's just too risky to trade a top 10 guy like that for 2 first-rounders and a handful of players. So I think DeMarcus Cousins stays. And the big trade that will happen, I think Paul Millsap's going to go. For where he's going to go, it'd be cool to see him back in the Celtics with teaming up with Big Al again. I think he's a great fit. Paul Millsap's a hell of a player. He's solid on defense. He could score in the post. He could shoot. He could drive. He's a fantastic player, very valuable. I think he's going somewhere. I think it's going to come down to Boston, Portland, Toronto is another one he could fit there too. Yeah, Boston, Portland, Toronto, and OKC. I think those are the teams that's going to be in the run for Paul Millsap. Alright, that's my predictions on what's going to happen at the deadline. You could comment, subscribe, like, drop your predictions down below where you think these players are going to go, and add some players I may have missed out on.